Welcome back to another chapter of Body of Dark, Heart of Light. Last time, Cecil has actually made it to Dissidia, or just arrived there unwillingly for the first time, and he met up with Kuja. And Kuja was fascinated by his prowess even though he hasn't fought him yet, so he decided to test him out. And Kuja won over Cecil, and he actually made an ultimatum with him that they should work for Chaos. But then he changed his mind and they decided to work for themselves instead. So that, Kuja's a narcissist and they should have the upper hand over everybody else because Kuja was always treated so badly. So he finally got his chance. And for some reason, Cecil seemed to be submissive to Kuja as he goes through a lot of corruption and darkness within his heart. So, yeah, like I said, this is a story I came up with about a decade ago, and I should give a quick shout out to 11 Slimeade 11, who actually made this battle theme version, which isn't the DS version. It kinda is, but he had a sound font from Pokémon Black and White. So, very cool stuff. You gotta listen to him. So, let's get this out of the way. Alright, Chapter 2. There was a massive area filled with craters and precipices. A full moon was shining down on the battlefield, and it was known as the Lunar Subterrane, which, if you've played Dissidia Duodecum and the original Dissidia, you should know this. Another lone warrior was leaning up against one of the cliffs with his arms folded. His weapon, the blood lance, was stuck into the ground beside him. He couldn't get this new warrior off his mind. Who is he? She said that it was someone I knew. Someone from my childhood. I forgot to italicize that, damn it. Since he was summoned to Dissidia recently, he had no memory. However, after each fight and his first meeting with Cosmos, he knew who he was with one bit at a time. Suddenly he heard a female voice which interrupted him out of his reverie. Kain, what's wrong? It was the young summoner from Kain, Yuna. She was also a warrior of Cosmos who was recently summoned. Oh, Yuna! I was just thinking about that new warrior Cosmos was talking about? She asked with her face aglow. Even she couldn't wait who he or she was either. Yeah, she said it was someone I once knew long ago. And, wait! Someone's coming! They hid in a heap behind a cliff and peeked over. Amongst the darkness, they saw two people walking toward them. He could only make out one of the intruders. It's Kuja! Yeah, but who is that? Yuna pointed to his follower. Sure enough, there was a dark knight following the genome. As he walked slowly, he looked around for any prey. He was on the hunt for whomever Kuja wanted to be obliterated. So, looks like a dark night. But suddenly, like Furion with the Wild Rose, Kain felt a connection toward the mysterious figure. He had some visions in his mind, working alongside him, but he still didn't know who he was. Kain, there's something strange about this dark night. You feel the connection too? What? No. I feel something evil inside him. He's not himself. Is he a warrior of chaos? No, it's not that. But if we don't fight him now, he wouldn't come to his senses. The darkness is consuming him. I can feel his hatred growing. Meaning? We don't even know him. I think he could be on our side. There's a speck of light inside, but it's very faint. Kuja could be abusing his dark side, and if we fight him, he could be purified. That's a plan, but we don't know what he's capable of. Thanks, Scrolls. Just then, as Kuja was soaring over the turf, he heard Yuna and Kain talking behind a precipice. Aha! Looks like we got ourselves some puppets to play with. Oh, wait! I have my own puppet of mayhem. Let us make this show come to a close. As Cecil was searching through the dark, he saw Kuja hovering and followed him, knowing that he must have spotted some fresh meat. Look! There he is! And it looks like he's powering up! Like a shadow Pokémon in hyper mode, as I would like to call it. Cecil used his darkness as flames surrounded him. His heart was hammering against his chest, his breathing became ravenous, and his energy and perception skyrocketed. Kain! What's he doing? Yuna asked alarmed. Apparently she never dealt with the Dark Knight before, but Kain never faltered. He's getting ready to fight. I'll take him on. If I fight him, I'll knock him back to his senses. You find someplace safe. No, I'll assist you. Let's bring him back together. Hesitantly, the dragoon said. All right, let's go. Kuja watched them prepare, and he said to his minion, These are your enemies, my puppet. Now, let's see how strong you are. Slaughter them! Kain stepped in front and drew his bloodlance as Cecil took out his Deathbringer. Through the dark armor, fire was burning in his eyes. His powers has been unleashed. I will not lose to you, Dark Knight. Cecil didn't respond. Instead, he lunged toward him in full force, with an ear-piercing war cry. Hurrah! Unlike his fight with Kuja, Cecil's battle was more intense. He even gained some experience, thus he learned some new skills. Kain used his signature move Jump, and also Gugner. It's unusual. At times when he was in trouble, he called Yuna to temporarily fight his opponent. Her fighting style was using her powerful Aeons Valifor, Ixion, Ifrit, Shiva, and Bahamut. You know, the usual gang. Cecil's assist was of course Kuja. Since the bard's strength was a little more than Kain's, his attacks packed quite a punch. They each had summons equipped. The Dark Knight used Bahamut, and the Dragoon used Tiamat. At times, when Cecil was in the air, he turned into a paladin. However, he still had the possessed look in his eyes. Kain still had a connection which became stronger, but he still couldn't get any information. There was still hope, though. As a Dark Knight gains more strength, his energy gets sapped. If he keeps this up, I might... He thought of an idea, and he got it. His plan was working. Sometimes Cecil felt himself weakening, but he became even more vicious. He even used his darkness spell as he made an EX burst, but Kain was still on his feet. On Cecil's last breath, he used his EX burst Dragon's Pride, which is a huge super jump attack. He soared past the clouds where the two twin moons were shining in a clear, crisp sky. Then, as fast as lightning, he descended with his blood lance pointing toward his target. It was his ultimate jump move. And bang! He knocked Cecil down as he plummeted. As he did his victory pose, he stated, Whatever I start, I finish. No! How could you have failed against this treacherous fool? I'll get you cronies back! That worthless scum is no use to me anyway! As Kuja was storming away and screaming at his own failure, Kain and Yuna rushed to the wounded Dark Knight. Is he all right? Yes, he's just knocked out. As Cecil ignited again, slowly he stood up, wearing the same hatred. As a Dark Knight, no matter how wounded he got, he still had that urge to keep fighting. We can't let him die like this. He must be stopped. Kain drew his lance again, but Yuna laid a hand on his shoulder and begged, Wait, please, just wait. What is it? It's his aura. I can feel it starting to fade. Just let me talk to him. Yuna, be careful. Cecil's hatred rose and he pointed his sword at the summoner as she was trying to talk some sense into him. Just stop! You'll only make yourself worse, he spoke in monotone. A Cosmos warrior. I need to... Ugh. He knelt as his energy started to leave him. Yuna was desperate to save him, but she didn't falter. She walked closer to him and spoke in a calm manner. Your hatred is consuming you and making you weak. I may not know anything about the Dark Knight, but you should try and let go of your powers. That way you won't have that urge to fight. My urge to fight? I must. You shouldn't talk. You're sapping all your strength. Tell me, what's on your mind? Surely there must be a reason why you're doing this. I can feel the darkness seeping into me. And Kuja, his flames appeared again, but Yuna didn't give up. Kuja's been using him. Kuja's been using him. He was exploiting his powers to work for Chaos. Please listen to me. You don't have to do this and dwell on this hatred. I think I know how you must be feeling. These Dark Knights, they usually lose themselves when they can't control their powers, letting these feelings of disorder harm them. I know how it feels to have someone betray you and drive you towards madness. I've been there, but I never gave in to my emotions, because I have friends who believe in me. What's your point? My point is, even knowing betrayal, despair, and hatred, you mustn't surrender to them. You're not alone. We're all with you. With that, his flames dissipated, and he took deep breaths to calm himself. Then his hands started to shake. When everything was calm, Kain showed up. What do you think? Should we take him to go see Cosmos? That would be a good idea. Maybe she could help us, and maybe then he can show his true colors. I knew there was some light left in him. He's just afraid to use it. Then she looked at Kain, who had a vacant look. What's wrong? It's this feeling. Something about him seems very familiar, but I can't remember. Maybe we should ask for his name? He thought out loud. Let's hope he won't be like the Warrior of Light. I hope he at least has some memory left. Suddenly there was a flash of light which illuminated the spot where the Dark Knight was standing. As Yuna and Kanan shielded their eyes, a miraculous thing happened. He turned himself into a paladin again, only this time he had no feelings of discord. He was growing more weaker by the second, and Kain and Yuna walked to him. What is your name? With all his remaining strength, he slowly lifted his head and spoke. My name is Cecil. Then he fainted, and Kain finally had what he was looking for. Cecil. His name is Cecil. We have to take him to Cosmos. Hurry, before the mannequins or any of Chaos's cronies will find us. They will definitely want to use him again. Right! Yuna smiled and nodded. She and the Dragoon grabbed an arm, and they made their way to Order's sanctuary. Alright, for those of you who haven't known Final Fantasy X, which is like 5% of people on planet Earth, Yuna was referring to the betrayal of Yevon, but mostly Seymour. I hated this guy so much. However, I did love his song. It was quite ideal that Duodecim had it while Yuna or Titus would be fighting the Emperor. And another thing, am I being too brief on the battles? If I am, I'll try and make them more descriptive. If not, that's fine. Well, the next part should be entertaining. Cosmos meets Cecil, and he becomes one of her warriors. However, he's not quite himself just yet. So, until next time, guys, this is the Ekron Rider signing out.